Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Second Strategy, where we talk about the changes in marketing and how martech is revolutionizing the way that marketers work. And today I have Kovini Nishadi with us. She is the co-founder of The Better Post, which is a LinkedIn marketing agency where she helps businesses and personal brands alike in growing on LinkedIn. She's also building Mondi AI, which is a platform that helps you understand your voice and bring it out in the form of content for LinkedIn and other platforms. And I'll let her introduce herself as well. Welcome, Queenie. Thank you, Nikin. Actually, you gave a pretty good introduction. So we run a LinkedIn management agency where we help personal brands and company pages to stand out on LinkedIn, specifically through proper positioning and just give them more visibility on the platform. Right. So from your profile, I think if I were to highlight one word, it would be LinkedIn. So what was the moment that LinkedIn clicked for you and you realized that genuinely it was your thing? So I'm gonna have to go quite a bit back. But what happened was, so back when we were in uni, we were in the marketing circle, and me as my partner and I, we were in the marketing circle, and there was a time when we needed to find sponsorships for our events that we were doing. And the way that I got these sponsorships was directly getting in contact with like CEOs and CEOs of really big companies and just asking them if they're interested in like partnering with us. And like strangely, all of them responded, and we managed to get quite a big amount of sponsorships through LinkedIn. And I remember thinking, like, even back then, like, oh my gosh, like, this is a thing. We didn't know that. So that's kind of like the very first time that clicked, like, LinkedIn works. Okay. Like, if we can do this for us, like, why can't we replicate this for others? And even, like, in all other businesses that we were doing, a large part of leads were coming through LinkedIn. So, yeah, eventually everything just came together. And we were like, let's just go all in on LinkedIn. That's very interesting. So you're running two brands or two companies, the Better Post and Mondi AI. And how did both of these separate companies grow out of your passion for personal branding and so on? Yeah, so the thing is, like, in actually, Mondi is a app that we built which complements the work that we already do at the Better Post. So at the Better Post, we work with a lot of founders, and the way that they send us content, like the content ideas for the week or month, is through voice clips. They literally just send us a WhatsApp voice clip or a LinkedIn voice note, and we're like, we have to go through that and understand like what we were recommended for the week. And we were like, why don't we make this an app? You know? And the second problem we were trying to solve is when they send us a voice clip, we can only write a LinkedIn post, right? But imagine how awesome it would be if they could just post that piece of content platform native into different platforms. So that's kind of like how both of them go hand in hand. But yeah. That's very interesting. So you took your clients' needs into account and then built something for them. Yeah. So just a quick question there. Yeah. Aren't you afraid that you might run your other business out of business because of money? No, no. The things that LinkedIn, like our agency does, is a lot more than just content writing. Because there's a lot more strategy and depth and positioning. Like it's a lot of things involved. AI can't do everything, right? Exactly. And what Mondi does is just translating your thoughts into text. So it's a little bit. So it's would I be correct in saying it's more towards someone that's just starting out with a low budget, perhaps? Exactly. That might not really need a full-fledged agency, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Why do you think people should take LinkedIn seriously as a place where real personal brand and business growth can occur? So the thing is, like on LinkedIn, if you really look at the platform itself, a lot of key decision makers in companies are on LinkedIn. So if you are a business, even if your business is just, let's say D2C, right? You need to have those network, like those connections with those bigger players in other companies, to really move forward. Like in terms of partnerships, let's say. But if you're a B2B business, it's a no-brainer. You need to be on LinkedIn. So it's kind of like why, yeah. Right. Okay. Um, So a lot of people want to get into LinkedIn marketing. A lot of people want to build their personal brand on LinkedIn. But a lot of them don't get it right as well. Yeah. Might be because they haven't been using the correct strategy. Might be because they've done something wrong. What would you say are the most common mistakes that founders and marketers alike do on LinkedIn for either their personal brand or their company or their business profile before they even start writing the first post? So, I guess one thing that a lot of people get wrong is they think that writing posts is all it takes. But actually, the very first thing you need to do is fix your profile. Right. Like, you need to fix your banner, you need to fix your headline, because a lot of artists with headline, your headline is literally visible on every single thing. Any comment that you make, any notification that other people get from your headline is visible. So, things like this, you really need to fix. So that's profile optimization. Right. Before you actually go ahead and write content. Right. So that's kind of like a lot of things that you need to fix, like small things. Maybe I need to have a chat after this about my own profile and profiles as well. Yeah. So I agree with you because you can put a lot of the time people think that posting is all it takes, right? Making your post. I think that still matters as well, but a business dog, like you said, probably. Yeah, and I'm gonna add one more thing actually. Sure. Sometimes we have clients who run multiple businesses because they say like I have a restaurant and I also have an app, and they think that using LinkedIn to promote both of these businesses or multiple businesses is the right thing to do. But on LinkedIn, what you need, like the objective, is to be remembered for one thing. Right. So if they want your help with, like, let's say marketing, for example, right? You need to be at the top of their mind when they have that need. Right. So if they remember you for multiple things, you are the first person to come to mind. So when you write content, like you need to have that ICP and your core purpose in mind and write for that person with the goal in mind. So that's also I think what a lot of people get wrong. They write for multiple audiences and multiple at the same time. So it goes like the saying, right? Jack of all trades, master of none. So you mentioned about LinkedIn and having a voice on LinkedIn, and of course, LinkedIn, like any other social media platform, is different from each other, and they have their own voices, their own audiences, and different ways in which you should operate in there. How would you describe what a platform native actually sounds like on LinkedIn, and how do you think you find your own version of it on LinkedIn? Yeah, so when it comes to platforms like LinkedIn, and X and Threads, they have completely different personalities of you. So, for example, like on X, I'm very direct. I literally just say exactly what I'm thinking on X. But on LinkedIn, I'm a lot more, professional. I try to be more like educational content, which is out along. And on Threads, let's say I'm a lot more laid back. Or maybe I'm very opinionated on Threads. So it's like the same thing. Like let's say you go for an event, right? You might post about your learnings or your takeaways from the event on LinkedIn, but on X you might talk about how difficult it was to get to the event, Right. So it's just different things, different angles of the same thing. So it's kind of like what I meant by the platform native. Like it needs to be suitable for each platform because you can't post a LinkedIn post on X. Yeah, it doesn't work. So that's kind of very true. I mean, beyond the platform's constraint itself, there are again um, tone and these different audiences. Right? Yeah, it's very true. So there's a lot of tips around about LinkedIn, right? How to win on LinkedIn, how to be successful on LinkedIn, how to win more followers on LinkedIn. Yeah. What are some of the tips that you've heard that are later found to be, more of a hindrance than something that would help you? Uh, Maybe it's a post regularly, create hooks, or create shorter or longer form content. What do you think are some things that might hurt? So I think all the things that you mentioned, there is definitely some
importance. Like hooks, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Posting content also does a lot make sense. But it's about how you do it. So, for example, posting daily. Let's say you post really long pieces of content daily. People might unfollow you because it's just such heavy content. You don't want to keep reading this business post every single day. So, post daily, yes, but not long post daily. Make a mix, one long post a week, a couple of short ones, and maybe a poll or two here and there. So, it's about understanding a good mix, even in hooks. If you're always putting down somebody in your hooks, or you're always saying you're better than somebody else, people get tired of seeing them. So it's about like really understanding like a good having a variety. Yeah, having variety. Yeah. Right. Just another quick question that just came to my mind. Sorry. Can I just tell you another thing? Yeah, go ahead. I'm so sorry. Just now you asked me what is another thing that people go after like the wrong thing, right? Yeah. Chasing virality. Right. So I have this one client who is posting. They are posting every single day. Every single post gets like 400, 500 likes. Zero meetings. Right. Do you know why? Because all the posts that they're posting is like memes or something that would get engagement, but the zero for his brand, what he's actually trying to do. So like virality is not exactly what you want to go after because you might actually end up attracting the wrong audience. The wrong people might engage with your content. So you need to keep pushing out like what you do, how you can help, and stuff like that, so that the right people will follow you and you will actually get an ROI. So I think I can completely agree with you on that because we face the same issue. Is it? Yeah, because our content used to be very educational, very marketed as at the corporate I'd say, and then we switched 360. We started doing a lot of memes, reels, some fun kind of content, and that increased the amount of like engagement. Yeah. Yes, but it didn't really translate directly to sales, right? But now what we realize is we need a correct mix of the two. Yeah. And I think that ties well to what you mentioned previously as well. Mm-hmm. The mix is one matters, right? So we are learning and I think we're starting new things as well to keep that mix alive. Um, yeah. So another question I think what I was going to ask you earlier as well is um, as founders and let's say people that are trying to build personal brands, how do you build a personal brand alongside your corporate or company brand as well? And do they need to coexist in your personal space, or would you say you want to keep them completely separate? Mm, do you mean like if a person is working in somebody else's company, or are you building your own business? If you're building your own business, I'm right? Targeting mainly towards entrepreneurs. Right. So in that case, it goes hand in hand. Right. What you said previously about building a personal brand and also building a corporate profile or a business profile alongside it. How do you manage between the two as a founder or as an entrepreneur? How do you not harm your personal brand while putting out your business content as well? And how do you balance between them? So I think the most important thing is you need to remember that coming across as salesy is gonna hurt your personal brand. You don't wanna come across as salesy. You wanna come across as someone who gives value, right? So don't say, I'm selling this, buy this from me. That's not how the messaging should come across. You need to make sure that firstly people know that you are in this space and say that, like, keep educating your audience, keep educating. And every now and then you bring in your business into the post, not the top part of the post, but like the bottom part. Like you add value, add value, add value, and you're like, this is why I built this business. Right. So that way it flows really nicely without it feeling like forced, like you are forced to see your business. Right. And also the likelihood of them following your page, your brand page will also be a lot higher. Right. Because you are giving them. Exactly. Right? Yeah. That's true.
So my next question is going to be about timelines, right? A lot of people want to see quick success, but what would a realistic timeline be for building your personal brand or your business brand on LinkedIn? And what can you expect in the first few months? So if you're just starting off, I'm going to assume it's a fresh stage. Um, the first, so it, uh, short answer is 6 to 12 months. Right. Okay, but the first 3 months, you're gonna get almost no attention. Right. You're gonna get no likes, barely any DMs, but it's important that you keep being consistent. Um, because the thing that you need to be looking out for is not engagement, it's signals. So things like people sending you a DM every now and then, or people, checking out your profile. So this web profile views feature comes in handy. So things like this are signals that will help you keep going. Right. In that first 3 months. After that, people are gonna know, oh, you know what? He's always talking about this thing, so maybe that is what he does, and they will remember you for that thing. And in the future, when you post something, they know what it's gonna be about, because this is what you do. So eventually, after 6 months, they're already conditioned. They know this is what you do. So you're gonna start getting engagement from there. So it's gonna be a slow start, but it's important that you be consistent and keep posting about what you do. So you gotta be consistent. Yeah, because it's super important. Right. So moving on from creating your personal brand and your corporate brand or business brand, um, I think a lot of the discussion nowadays about social media tends to revolve around how AI is changing social media. Now, if you look at how a lot of these AI content creation apps and tools work, and the type of content that it's creating, does that make you think that that's a real problem that needs solving? And if so, what do you think about that? Absolutely. In fact, it's actually one of the reasons why we built Mondi. So let me tell you something. Like, if you're a busy founder, right? You know that AI exists. You know that ChatGPT exists, Claude, Gemini. You can just go on there and ask, like, write a post for me, right? And you'll just go and ask them to write a post. And it will give you a post, around a topic that you want to talk about. But it's gonna sound like AI. It's gonna have a lot of filler content, which is very obvious to anybody that it's written by AI. But because you're a busy founder, you don't really have the time to go back and analyze, like, oh my gosh, can people tell that this? They don't have the time. So they think it's working because the post looks perfect, but it's not really. Maybe too perfect. Too perfect. There's no texture, there's no specificity. It's very flawless. Everybody can tell that that's AI. So it's important that when you use AI to write your content, that's totally fine, but make sure that you don't outsource your thinking. You only outsource your writing. So right. Write on your own, and you ask them to rewrite it in a better way, like right. Maybe fix the grammar and stuff like that. But don't ask them to think for you. Like, write a post about marketing. That shouldn't be happening. So when there's any answers you're thinking, what happens is that's not your personal brand anymore. It's AI who's talking. Right. So what you're saying is draw a line between, being able to post more consistently and aiding you in it. Exactly. And rather than creating all the content, doing all the work. Right. And I think there's probably a lot of ways in which AI can help you to optimize your workflow, right? Exactly. Maybe reminding you or like giving you creative ways in which um, certain things can be phrased, right? Or certain analogies and stuff like that. And like it's completely fine for you to use AI to like write stuff because like not everybody is a writer. Yeah. Right? Some of us we are good at we're not gifted. Exactly. Some of us are just not gifted. We're so busy running our businesses. We don't have the time to sit down and think about the writing. So it's okay as long as you think on your. Yeah. So one thing that you I think highlighted throughout today is about consistency, being there, being present, posting regularly, being regular. And that's something that everyone knows is one of the key things, not just maybe in LinkedIn, but also across any platform in general. What does your current routine look like, and on a day-to-day basis, and how do you keep up with it, while building your business and your everything else that you do? So I actually wrote a post about this, I think this morning. Um, but basically, I would never let somebody else handle my LinkedIn for me. Okay. Like on LinkedIn, you can send about 15 to 25 connection requests per day. Sure. You can't send more than that. So what happens is these 25 that I send every day, which I do by the way, I allocate like an hour and I send them personally. And in every single message, I make sure I go and check their recent posts, find out something that they did, and I include that in the connection message. Alright. So they know that there's no way I could have written this for somebody else. This is for you, John. This is for you. Okay. So I do that. So that's like that takes like an hour of my day anyway. And apart from that, writing content, something I do is batch creation. I in my notes app I take down like fun things that happened to me, isn't it? And I take like a nice Sunday, sit down, write all the posts, and I schedule them across the week. And I split them into like educational content, something fun, something that shows my personality. I just mix it up a little bit and I post it across the week. But that's typically my flow. So it's time management. Exactly. And for me, I understand why another like founder can't do this themselves, by the way, which is why we exist our business. But for me, if I can't spend time building my own brand in that, since I'm already in this space, it doesn't work. I have to do this myself. That's true. So yeah. That's true. Because there are certain things that you can delegate and certain things you can't, right? And making something sound like yourself and sound natural, it's not something that you can delegate as well. Yeah. Um, so I think one last question would be, um, so not everyone has been consistently posting and consistently active. For someone, let's say a founder, a marketer, who has not posted in months or who hasn't been active on LinkedIn in months, and we see some post accounts as well, right? Might apply to them, might apply to someone that has been active previously and hasn't been in a while. But once you start again, what would be the one thing that you'd say they should start with before anything else? Mm, of course, like I mentioned, optimizing your profile is a must. You must do that before you start putting out content. Because if people come to your profile and see that it's a mess, there's nothing proper there, it's not gonna translate. Yeah. So you need to make sure that you optimize your profile first. And the second thing is find a frequency that works for you. A lot of founders, they feel the pressure when people say consistent, right? They think it's like every day. But if you can post once a week, as long as you can be consistently posting once a week, that's good. That's great. That's very true. I think my New Year's resolution was to start posting more regularly. I posted once a day for the first few days, and then one catches up, right? Exactly. Can't be. So you need to find a pace that works for you, so that you don't lose it again. That's very true. Find a pace and keep at it. If you can find time to squeeze in another post or two in a week or something, that's perfectly fine. As long as you stick to the initial consistency, the frequency that you know told yourself that you can manage, all good. Yeah. So I think that's all my questions for you today, Vicky. Awesome. I think I learned a lot, and I think perhaps we need to have a chat later on optimizing our LinkedIn as well. So thanks again for joining us today, and